Great news for travelers like myself who get very annoyed with silly TSA protocols. You no longer will have to take your shoes off at certain airports.
At least that's what sources are telling multiple news outlets. Gate Access, a travel newsletter, was first to report the news.
Now, the TSA has not officially changed their policy, but sources are saying the TSA has stopped requiring travelers to take their shoes off at some airports. A TSA spokesperson did tell the New York Times TSA and DHS are always exploring new and innovative ways to enhance the passenger experience, and our strong security posture. Any potential updates to our security process will be issued through official channels, however.
Caleb Harmon Marshall, the author of the Gate Access newsletter, told the Times in a statement, "Travellers should feel relieved knowing that technology has advanced so significantly that TSA officers can detect threats while wearing shoes. In the old days, this wasn't the case." You are very excited about this story, Robby.
Yes, I am.
Tell me all about it. Tell me why you're so thrilled.
You know that I do not like the TSA very much.
You're not a fan of security theatre.
It is security theater. What we have done in the last 20 years to how we have transformed the process of flying or checking in for flights is just utterly ridiculous. It was fear drove us to enshrine, to put into law all of these policies that are connected to safety in only the most abstract ways. Specifically, the taking off the shoes thing dates to about 2006 or 7 in response to the shoe bomber. You remember him?
I do.
I actually didn't remember his name. You were able to come up with it.
Well, because he was English, perhaps. So that was part. Richard Reid was the man in question.
Important to note that his bomb did not work and was not successful.
Did not detonate a transatlantic flight.
Because of that, we've all been taking off our shoes. And, people have a difficult time assigning, every time something goes wrong, it's natural to go, oh my God, what could have been done to prevent this? How insane you are to just let people not check people's shoes. How can you do that? Well, okay. The cost, the difficulty, the headache of checking everybody's shoes, everybody flying for 20 years. Think of the exorbitant amount of weight. And I know you can't, put a dollar amount on a human life, although you actually can. It's like insurance actuators do.
Save you from yourself and get you back off the let's put a dollar amount in everyone's life.
Right, but we don't consider the lives lost by people, for instance, driving to their destination instead of flying, because now it's more expensive and more costly. More people die in car accidents than plane crashes. Driving is by several orders of magnitude more dangerous than flying. In fact, driving is one of the most dangerous things you can do.
Sure.
There's almost more car deaths than anything else, up there with gun deaths and cancer and things and heart disease in America. So if this was absolutely necessary to make us safer, maybe we would do it. There's very little evidence that it is. So many of the whole plane hijackings, locking the cockpit doors was a great innovation after 9/11 that has made it almost impossible, probably, to hijack planes anymore. So that's a great innovation. The rest of it is security theater, and I am so glad we're not going to do this part of it anymore.
I don't really disagree with very much of that at all. I mean, in a free society, you have to constantly try to evaluate the increased security that you obtain by doing X, Y, or Z, and the cost of that. I mean, we could, for example, protect lawmakers by never having them ever go out in public and having every public proceeding behind locked doors.
We could lower the speed limit when you're driving to 5 miles per hour. Fine, if it takes you 20 times longer to get to your destination, and we would save lives that way. We would save lives in terms of car crash deaths, but we would inconvenience everyone so much that we would cost lives in terms of how long it takes you to get to the hospital or the grocery store or whatever. We obviously wouldn't do that. I mean, these thought experiments are useless to say, well, there are limits on how much we're willing to limit human behavior.
And the other thing I think particularly about the airports is something that bothers me is the apparent arbitrariness of it a lot of the time. And even in this report, I noticed that the phrasing of it was some airports won't require you to take your shoes off. So, why some and not all? And I mean, this happens on a much lower level all the time. Often if I go home to Ireland, there's a particular airport where the amount of a liquid that you can take seems smaller than other places. So who's deciding that? Have we decided that this amount of my contact lens solution is potentially explosive there, but not there?
Well,
it seems a ludicrous
100%. It gets even more ridiculous. If the line backs up too much, oftentimes then they go, okay, everybody just come. They wave people through.
Right.
So they're not. So the screenings are random.
Right.
Also, this is actually my personal pet peeve. Is not even the shoes. It's the it's now about 50% of the time. Some of the machines, when you're going through airport security, you're supposed to take out of your backpack. You got to take out your laptop. I'm usually traveling with my Nintendo Switch. You got to take that out.
Sure.
Have them in different bins. And go through. Some of the machines, you leave everything in your backpack. And it's about 50-50. And even at some airports, they have this line is this machine and this line is this machine. This has happened to me at DCA all the time. So you have to ask, like, do I leave my laptop in? And they look at you like you're a moron who's never flown before. But there's no way to know which machine it is.
Exactly.
That drives me crazier than anything. If it was just the same way every time, I would be fine with it. But
I believe the machines that let you keep your laptop in are more expensive. However.
Yeah.
So you say you would probably prefer to fewer taxpayer dollars being spent. And
also, I swear to God, even when it goes through that one, half the time, maybe not half the time, but plenty of the time it stops, or they take it away and oh, now we got to go through your things. I'm like, well, I would have rather just taken them out so we didn't have to do this. Yeah. I hate the sexually aggressive, in my view, pat-downs that do if you fail that machine, which that's happened to me on multiple trips. I do not enjoy watching government employees abuse old women, looking for bombs on their purses. It's just totally ridiculous to me.
I mean, I think I'm not really defending that. I guess that happens if someone sets off something going through the magnetometers and whatever, and obviously we have an interest in people not bringing weaponry on board planes. But yeah, I mean, I think that there is an issue.
I won't say it because I don't want to get this video in trouble on YouTube, but it is perfectly possible to assemble an incendiary device in the airport after you get through security. I won't explain how to do it, but you can Google it. It can be done.
Can't believe I'm going to have to save you from yourself twice in 1 second. But here we are.
Oh, all right. 2 liberal former cable news stars floated a conspiracy theory, perhaps, about Trump in the 2026 midterms. We'll tell you who.